Merry Meet, Annie here. This video is in response to a video by Moonlit Opal, and her video is entitled, "So You're Not a Perfect Pagan," and in parentheses she has, "and that's okay." Well, my friend, I respect you a lot. I watched your videos all the time, and I think you are bright and intelligent, and you bring us good things to think about, but we've come to a point of disagreement. I simply cannot agree with you. We are meant to be perfect pagans, every one of us. However, in the end we agree, more than 100%. And I hope that those who are going through times of doubt are watching the video responses to this, because we're all replying in a similar vein. Any of us who have had any length of time exploring this path for ourselves. I say, we, you, each one of us is already the perfect pagan. I talked with someone recently about the idea of being on a spiritual path and feeling as if, in their case, that the path was changing. And I said, the path doesn't change. The path has always been what it is and what it's going to be, and you will change. And if we accept those changes, or not that we suddenly stop at a crossroads and head off in another direction, but we are simply following our own yellow brick road. It is what it is. It is true to us, especially when we are true to it. So the concept of a perfect pagan to me is, we are perfect. We are experiential, spiritual people. We live our beliefs and our spirituality as much as we speak of it or in some way practice it in a formal sense. Everything we do is who we are. Everything we do is our relationship to the earth and to whatever our concept of the divine is, and whether we are in the mood to celebrate holidays, whether we prefer to be alone and be quiet, whether we shift what deity feels like to us, or what practices feel right, or if any practice or any deity feels present in our life at any moment, we are being true to ourselves, and we are perfect. There is in this community, when we are practicing with those of similar minds, a lack of judgment when it comes to these experiences of what is and is not, and how it can change over time, even from moment to moment. It's perfect just as it is, and we are each perfect just as we are. I would no sooner think to pass some kind of judgment on a friend who was going through a period of time when a walk down the road is as deeply spiritual and ritualistic as they need to be, as I would expect them to be in any way judgmental of me, a solitary in my meditation room casting exotic and lengthy rituals to please myself. We are better, I think, at not judging others than we are at judging ourselves. I've been on this path since the early 70s. And it has constantly shifted and changed for me. The power of what it is individually to me, what it is in community to me, what I do, what I believe. It's shifted and changed constantly over those years. There are things which have become firm that do not change for me, but the rest of it weaves and dances its way around that, and it influences my path, where it ends up going. But it has always been my path, and I am true to it. And I say each of you is perfect when it comes to your relationship to your path, even during times of confusion, times when you're challenging the direction you are taking. That indeed is a pause in your forward momentum, which is very, very much a part of your path. Mistakes. Oh, I have loved watching the videos where we've all admitted to the things we have done. I have done everything from failing to show up at a ritual I was leading because my calendar said the full moon was the next night, and the calendar of the group I was attending had the moon at the previous night. Nothing like getting a call saying, "Dear priestess, where the are you?" I have been in the middle of a ritual. A lot easier to handle when it's just me, and suddenly went, I'm just not about this today or tonight. I'm parroting something here. I'm saying something that I just don't have a relationship to. Very easy to handle when you're by yourself. You just shift gears. Close down the shop if you need to, or decide, well, okay then, what is it for me today or tonight? A little less easy to deal with if you find you're leading a group. I have set myself on fire a couple of times. Oh, the advantages and disadvantages of wearing robes. I will not wear anything that has long sleeves in it anymore. And I am rather careful about the length of robes too. Even skirts. I've learned to raise the candles at the elemental quarters above ground, because one can add to the drama when casting a circle, when swooping by those candles and catching oneself on fire, but it's really not the effect I looked for the time it happened. I have learned to respect wind and the terrible things it does with candles, sparks, bonfires, and balefires. I have learned how it takes carefully written pages of a ritual that you have not memorized and blows it to the four corners of the world, long gone. I always wondered what would happen when people found those missing pieces of paper. So you would think I would have solved the problem by the fact that I memorize ritual and don't need papers, but there is nothing more embarrassing than to be in the middle of a call and totally forget the words. It's never happened to me on the Call of the Goddess, but I think it has happened just about every other time. I have slipped in circle and called my priest by his given name and not by his circle name. There's nothing wrong with that. It brought great giggles to all of us. It changed the flow of that ritual, and it became a very light-hearted ritual. I have dropped the cakes. We all appreciate the earth, but I don't think too many of us really want to have to eat it mingled in our cakes. I've spilled the wine, broken the chalice, not mine, somebody else's, which made it even more upsetting at the time. I have been wailing away on my drum and had the drumstick go right through the hide of my drum. Man-made drums and the challenges they bring. I once was leading a chant, and I was so carried away by it that I forgot to breathe. I actually passed out. I hyperventilated and I passed out. I have fallen down dancing. I do that a lot. I've learned to hobble along, even if it's with my cane in a dance, and I do well, but I'm more careful about that now. I once led a group in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey, and unbeknownst to me, the person who was hosting us, who took us back into the Pine Barrens to a very beautiful, private, sacred cove, was under the influence of a little bit of smoke before we got there. He took us back into the woods just fine. And then he was just a little too far gone to lead us back out. And everybody looked to me, the witch from the city who was their priestess, thinking, well, if the priest is not able to negotiate us back out of the Pine Barrens, certainly she can. She's our priestess. She knows all. No. I know how to stop at a stop sign or yield on yellow at a traffic light. I don't know anything about finding my way out of the Pine Barrens. Oh, it was daylight. I would have had a little bit more luck, but not on a nice moonlit night with no indicator of where we were or how we'd gotten there. I led a ritual in someone's backyard one time, and I was uncomfortable when I arrived there because the house, which was going to be where the meal was held after the event, was not a tidy house in any sense of the word. I don't mind if a house needs to be picked up, but we're talking a house that was not well taken care of. And in the process of, I think I had cast, if I remember correctly, I had done the casting, come around to center to do the as above, so below, and I trod flat smack in the middle of a big pile of dog poop. And I remember standing there frozen with my foot in it. No one knew my foot was in it. Thinking to myself, can I just keep going, pretend like this didn't happen? And I convinced myself to do that. But I remember still the frozen moment of, I can't believe this just happened, and wanting to step out of the power of the moment and go, shit, literally. Oh man, I can think of so many instances where things went wrong. And all those things we can write off to being something funny, but there's also the serious thing that you spend a lot of time getting ready for something you think you want to do, and then you find you're not with it. You know what? It wasn't meant to be. The exercise of writing it meant something to you, and it's well worth revisiting that and thinking about what did it mean at the time and learning from that. Your spiritual moment may have come and gone in the act of organizing your thoughts or writing down the ritual you were going to do. And then when it comes to the time of the ritual, it's meant to be something very different. I love it in my current circle when something goes wrong, and it seems as soon as something goes wrong, it's a cascade. And there is nothing more powerful. There's nothing more powerful than a giggle fest. There is nothing more beautiful than the magic created by laughter. There is a serious aspect to this all, of course, and I know that the other people who have responded have also said the same thing. It feels odd sometimes when the sands shift under our feet. But it's what needs to happen. We are not following some path in stone, that there is a procession down the path. It's not who we are. We are explorers. We are seekers. And in this path we will always be such. And whether you call yourself by this name or that name, define your path in a certain way at this moment or the next moment, it will shift and it will change. And that is the beauty of this. It does not become irrelevant. It does not become meaningless. You will find the meaning into it, but the meaning shifts and changes, and what you need to do shifts and changes. Even what you believe may shift and change. Within that, you start recognizing the things that don't. For those of you who are new to the path or young and haven't had a length of experience yet, out of all this comes the things that you start noticing don't change, the givens. That's where we build the strengths of who we are personally when it comes to our personal paths, the things that don't change. We can feel lost if we feel like living this spirituality means we have to always be marching forward. Onward, pagan soldiers. If I could sing that song, I would, if I remember back to my Christian days. Onward, pagan soldiers. But this is not a war. This is a seeking, a questing, a journey. It is, as much as anything, an experience. And if there is a time at which we are at a pause, because for the moment we don't know why we're doing something, we don't feel the need to do it, we're challenging it, we're having a change in, I'm just feeling too lazy today, I would rather not do this. I'd rather be alone, or I'd rather be off with my friends, I'd rather be enjoying my family, my children, I'd rather just take a walk. Those might be considered, in a way, pauses, moments of refreshment along the way, and we can sometimes feel them as moments of panic. Oh my gosh, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. My response to Moonlit Opal, and I know she gets this and feels exactly the same way, you are doing exactly what you were supposed to be doing. You are living, and you are deciding how you're blending all of this into one thing, which is life and spirituality and the movement forward. And those moments of pausing, to readjust, to think, to re-experience, they are some of the most important moments in our life. The worst thing we can do is become such creatures of habit that we do everything like a good pagan, in proper order, at proper time, and in proper format, just to get through. This is about experiencing. This is not about getting through. All of you, I say, and I embrace you all with my heart, all of you are perfect pagans. Absolutely perfect. I wish all of you perfect pagans mirth and reverence. Merry part.